The Renegade Warriors.
See, this is what I didn't like about WCW in this era. It's like, I don't remember ever plopping down for a pay-per-view and being like, man, I can't wait to see what the Renegade Warriors are doing.
Were these the Youngbloods? I think Chris Youngblood is one of them, right?
You are correct.
Yeah, Chris Youngblood is on the left. Wow. All in pink.
Chris and Mark Youngblood.
Okay.
They also were the Youngbloods and the Tribal Nation.
Rocky King. Oh, he's got a limp. Somebody beat his ass.
What the fuck is this makeup? Could someone get Michael Hayes on the line?
This is what Eric Bischoff did not like, this version of the Freebirds. I always found Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin entertaining, but I could see how he would think, okay, maybe this is a little past its expiration date. What do you think of this version of the Freebirds, Chris?
It was my introduction.
Yeah.
I had the magazine, so I knew Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts, seen photos of them. But this to me was the Freebirds. And, then they had Brad Armstrong as like Bad Street or Fantasia or whatever it was. And they had Big Daddy Dink, who was Sir Oliver Humperdinck. So that when I think of the Freebirds as a kid, this is the first iteration of it.
Isn't it amazing that you guys who were fans back then and younger can remember this stuff? And I worked right in it and I can't remember shit.
Here's what I want to know. I want to know if Michael Hayes still has that outfit. Do you think there's any chance he still has those pants and those suspenders?
I would think there's a chance. And I would think if you stay on him long enough, he would probably wear it backstage at TV.
I think it would be awesome if he just wore it like on a show. Can you imagine if he was like introducing someone and he just walked out in that in 2024? That's the move.
Wonder why the character Doc Hendricks didn't stay around long, because, we've seen things to where he was the guy that promoted things, they would go to him.
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job, actually. In those, you said that Eric didn't like this version of the Freebirds.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I don't know if Eric has admitted to this or if he's changed his mind or if you've even talked about it. Eric didn't like Michael Hayes really at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, I don't think it's that he didn't like him as a person. He just did not like, I remember Michael and I were on a golf course and we were, I don't know, we were in the cart and Michael says, he said, no, Eric gives me shit about the Freebird character and about the old Southern connotation of the Freebirds. And he said, but I can be whatever he wants me to be. He said, it's just a gimmick. He said, I can be anything. He just needs to tell me if he doesn't really like it, what he wants me to be.
Right.
And I remember thinking about that he's probably right there. If Eric doesn't like the Freebird, Eric was really, really against anything out of the South.
Right.
And I guess he thought the Freebirds were Southern because obviously, they wore the stars and bars at one time. So,
well, to be clear, I think Eric would say he wasn't against the South. He just didn't want the promotion to feel like it was regional. He wanted it to feel like it was more global, which I get.
Yeah. Again, Southern connotation, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of like the NASCAR people. They wanted to
expand
and because of that, NASCAR has lost a lot of their fans.
A lot. Yeah. They're down.
Right.
Renegade Warriors are in a tough spot here, man. They're, they're relatively new to WCW. They haven't been pushed on TV a ton. They're in there with like an established act, and their match is after the Rock and Roll Express, or the iteration of the Rock and Roll Express has just had a hell of a match that tore the house down. They're doing similar kind of spots, and you can just hear the crowd's not quite as into it because they just saw it.
Right. It's always a tough spot. Always a tough spot when you follow a great match.
I think they were only here for like a year or two. I think they came in the spring and they were gone by the spring of 91. So not long for this world.
I didn't notice it until now, but Rocky King's got his face painted too.
Yeah, he does.
There's one show, I don't know if it was a Clash, but he sure enough had that rebel flag painted on his face. Ooh,
Yep.
oof. I was on a show with Rocky King in 2012, 2011, and he was the nicest guy. And he
Really?
was still in great shape. I realize it's 11 years ago now, but he was in great shape.
Yeah, but Rocky was a good guy. You're right, good kid. Seemed like he was always in a good mood. And I just think I think we had attempted to use him in many, many ways, and nothing really worked out on a. I mean, here's another one right here. But he always gave good matches. I remember back in the studio days, he would always
Mhm.
give good matches.
Yeah, that face paint is dreadful.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, Michael Hayes and Jimmy Jam's face paint is not
Yeah.
that well.
You can
Oh,
tell they're not regular painters.
no, they're
No.
not. And I wonder who encouraged them to paint.
Maybe it's because it's Halloween and everybody else is dressed up. I don't know.
That would be it. That would be it.
Of the referees, I mean, so far we've seen, we saw Nick Patrick in the first match. Now we got Pee Wee here. You guys had a great crew of referees. Did you have, a favorite referee that you like to pal around with in this era, Tony?
I didn't pal around with any of the referees. No. I guess the closest would have been Pee Wee because he and Arn were good friends. And, Arn and I were very good friends. So, but no, I didn't pal around with a referee. I didn't pal around with many people, Conrad. I was a loner, a rebel, as kind of what I am right now.
Did you know that, Chris, that the minute you or Tony are no longer employed with AEW, he'll never speak to you again? Did you know that about Tony?
That's it's one of my biggest fears.
What's going to happen? I'm just giving you a spoiler right now. Like, I mean, he said many times, man, what a great guy. He was one of my best friends. What happened? Well, I quit working there and never spoke to him again.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible friend. I really am.
Anytime Tony like half-ass thinks, man, I'm so busy with my AEW stuff. I don't know that I'm going to have time to record a podcast. I'm trying to hang on because it's like, I know when we stop doing a podcast, that's it. Like, I'll just read one day, Tony died. The end.
The end. That'll be it. Yeah, I am a loner. I actually, and I'm the only one that did this. I know. I actually drove from Ottawa to Burlington, Vermont after the show on Saturday. 3 hours and 45 minutes. Take a direct flight from Burlington, Vermont to Atlanta. And I was usually when you're on a plane, especially in Atlanta, there's a lot of wrestlers on there with you. But I was the only one on there I knew that would be and I just drove alone, no music, driving alone in my thoughts.